When it's horrible, bad and wrong. When it's horrible, bad and wrong. When it's horrible, bad and wrong.
Okay, this is... I've been really bad about counting, because the last episode that I posted I said was the 6th episode of the Vlogalog when it was really the 7th.
Was it? Is there that many?
Yes, and
Wow.
and you know, depending on when I post this, I'll probably post this one next. So this will be the 8th episode of the Vlogalog for anyone who's paying attention and wants to get on my case
Keeping
about
score at home.
Exactly, keeping
Yeah.
and point out the fact that my ability to count is lacking.
Sure.
This is the 8th episode. For anyone who is joining us for the first time or maybe for the last time, I am Krumbine. I write and produce shows like webcams and now Tube Talking. This is joining me today is JimmerSD. He has shown up in many episodes. Okay, handful of episodes of webcams. He's co-starring in. Does that include the zombie episode coming up?
Yeah, it'll be that. It's it'll probably be out by the time this
We need to have like a mini IMDb database for webcams, just so we can see. Okay, JimmerSD, he's been in 3 episodes. He's contributed music to 1 episode. You know, we need that. I need the breakdown of those details. Anyway,
More
Jim.
More than one.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, back. No, it was back in the Talking Heads days.
Oh, yeah. I have to keep those separate for. I mean, they really do fall under the same category, Talking Heads and webcams. It is the same show.
It's a work in progress.
But yeah.
Morphing along, changing constantly.
But yeah, you've been around forever, and along with webcams.
Is that some kind of crack about my age?
Well, it's still better than being the number 5 on the value meal, so.
Okay, I'll take that.
I would think it is. I mean, as far as
bad-sided compliment of some sort.
I'm sorry, a bunch of things are popping up. Like I said, I'm updating my iPad, and a bunch of things are popping up as I'm talking. So.
And again, I'm on the side burner.
I can't help it. I'm trying to move the things off onto the other screen so it doesn't cover your beautiful face here. Let me finish this introduction for you, please. It's a lovely television. Is that a DLP?
Yeah, yes it is.
Some people still... does anybody... Who sells them anymore?
No, well, they sell them, but they're a high-intensity LED backlit versus a lamp.
Oh, right.
They're much more reliable long-term. You don't have the maintenance costs going forward. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, I want to ask another question about that, but really,
Fine.
Jim... You're co-starring in Tube Talking. We have some really big plans for your character coming up in the show, and I'm really excited about that. And then going back, like you said, you've participated in Talking Heads miniseries. You've contributed music to Talking Heads, and then just as a YouTuber, you've been around for I mean, as far as the history of YouTube goes.
06.
Yeah. So
January 06.
Yeah. So you're one of the few people. Hold on one second.
Sure.
Had my window open and the blinds are making a lot of noise.
No, well, the cats are in the background here. They're playing grab ass.
One of my cats is sitting in front of the television over here, so I don't know what she's doing. She's just inspecting. She's watching the show, maybe, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
So actually, what's interesting is that you're one of the few people in the Crumbination circle, I think, that really has seen the full evolution of YouTube and has been there, watching it. In addition to be that regular contributor. So I think that gives you kind of a unique point of view, and one of the reasons why I'm excited to be doing this vlog with you today.
It's been interesting to watch YouTube change over the years and kind of morph from vloggers into people doing sketches and skit comedy, observational stuff, and then all of a sudden it seems to be moving kind of back. I'm starting to see some vlogging happening again up on YouTube.
Well, do you really think it's ever stopped?
I think it got backburnered. I think that during the course of YouTube's evolution, they tried to put more focus on the
like creative
partners
content.
and the creative aspects, and bringing people from the outside.
Yeah, as much as I know neither you or I or anybody I know have any appreciation for people like Shane Dawson.
Who?
I think it's actually, but because they put him up on that pedestal, and he does do, as stupid as they are, he does do sketch-based material. I don't think he vlogs very much at all.
Even those partner vloggers, the guys coming from way back, you really don't think that those are the real people, do you? I mean, most of those guys are characters.
Absolutely,
and they're portraying a character that is Shane Dawson.
Right. I mean, I absolutely.
Sexy Phil or any of those guys.
Yeah, I totally agree. But the point is, I think that would be like the catalyst for that kind of shift from vlogging. You put someone like Shane Dawson up on the pedestal, you can't load, you can go to the front page of YouTube on any day and see 3 of his videos, 4 or 5 maybe. I think that because that's being highlighted as that prime YouTube content, everybody else kind of follows in suit.
Sure.
So that could be...
That's very possible. Well, the thing that I missed the most from the old days was you as a content provider had a distinct possibility of being featured on the YouTube front page.
Yes.
You just all of a sudden make something, you come up with a great idea and do a little short video, it takes off, and all of a sudden it's on the YouTube front page and you've got 100,000 views or 500,000 views. It's not that way anymore. I mean, most of the time when you have your account, the first thing you see when you open up YouTube is your subscriptions. It's the people you watch regularly. So the whole concept has actually become a little more cliquey.
Yeah.
You build a group of people around you, the people that you interact with, those are the people you look at on YouTube, and no longer are you presented with a whole lot of new and different, interesting. You have to go looking for it. You have to go looking for it. I'm not saying the people that we're subscribed to are not new and different and interesting.
Right.
They are all of that, but to find the new and cool, sometimes you have to go off of YouTube, go someplace else.
It is getting very easy to get locked into, a clique or a very specific community like Crumbination, and kind of hard. It gets harder and harder. I know for me, at least, harder and harder to cast my net, outside of that network to see other videos. But yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head as far as that front page feature goes. Do you think that it was, did YouTube, intentionally move away from that when they went, more commercial and hunting for that money, trying to drive that revenue stream?
Yeah.
Or was it more of a natural evolution? As anything grows, it's gonna change. So do you think they intentionally moved away from it, or it was kind of just a natural evolution, or does it even matter?
Well, I mean, obviously we have what we have. It is what it is. I don't know what their I have to assume that their motivations were financial. You want more views on the commercial properties that are on your site, which is where YouTube is right now. They have television programming that's available on YouTube, and they have content that is commercialized, and the more clicks, the more views they get on that, the more money they make. So putting the average small YouTuber up on a featured video on the front page is not going to pay off for them in the long run. So I think it's a purely financial decision.
Yeah,
absolutely. But hey, it's still there as a method for getting your particular brand of zaniness out there in front of the world, and I'm happy to have it.
Yeah, and just like I think the thing with and the other thing that has occurred to me, as much as I've been working on marketing my own stuff, everywhere I turn, it seems like everybody on YouTube isn't there on YouTube anymore to watch. Everyone's there to market their own stuff, to push their own stuff. So it's like
less
where's
and less a community.
it's not there's no audience anymore. It's just other people trying to become the next Shane Dawson or Sexy Phil.
That's true, and and it's the ultimate outlet for the narcissist.
It is, and I what really has bothered me, like I've said before, and like you just said, and it's kind of shaped my thought process for probably about 2 years now, is that front page feature, and it really did start with Talking Heads YouTube Rejects, and then the miniseries you did with me with the Christopher Mass story. And what occurred to, and the way I've compartmentalized this idea now, is that even though YouTube has moved away from that front page feature, which is a great way for a person to be discovered and to launch talent, it doesn't mean it's gone. I still think, and I think maybe a few partners do this, or will dedicate. We'll do it once in a blue moon. I haven't really seen anybody who's dedicated to it, but obviously a partner who is high enough in that YouTube stratosphere can take. Can replicate that front page feature. They can.
Give me a break, man, Victor.
Yeah.
When I was posting a lot of videos, and obviously I haven't put anything up in almost 2 years now. When I would put stuff up, he would feature me on his page,
right?
On his front page, he would put whatever I put up if he liked it. And I honestly think it put a hit on his viewership in a lot of ways. And after 2 or 3 tries of putting my content onto his page, I actually stopped getting any more additional subscribers. The first couple of times I got 100 or 200 subscribers, and then it was 30, and then it was 10, and then it was 1 or 2. Not to see, I don't know, maybe what I had up there sucked.
No, of course not.
He did make that available, and as far as I know, he still does make that available on occasion. And there are other YouTubers who have pretty decent coverage who do that. It's nice. It's nice that part of the community is still out there, and it's all about making friends and relationships and long-term friendships on and
right.
through YouTube.
Right. So you've heard Billo and I talk about this, and we talked about it a little bit in that vlog-a-log, but we both have gone on rants about it individually. The difference between YouTube as a content delivery platform and a social network. So you actually kind of see it and embraced it. I don't know if you still do it now, but you really view it as a social network for you.
I did, and I still do. I still have contact with a lot of the people who I've had personal relationships with through and met, and some of them are still here, some of them aren't. Some of them just peek in occasionally. I try to keep an eye on what's going on, and I think that it is a social network still. And I'll tell you what, I'm finding more new content not on YouTube. Well, it may be on YouTube, but I'm finding it from different avenues. I read like Slashdot and ARS Technica and Reddit. If you've been to Reddit.com,
okay.
People point you at new and cool and interesting stuff. Now, I don't do a whole lot of tweeting. It's just too much.
Tweeting and Facebook,
it is. Constant thing, and I think it eventually will burn out certain brain cells. Trying to focus on that so much. So.
Twitter is is the worst of YouTube right now. Oh. No one's there to actually use it as social networking or whatever. It's all, hey, look at my tweets. Everyone's advertising themselves. No one's actually. There's no audience.
Look at my tweets, and then you look at their tweets, and I'm going into Wendy's now. And then after that, I'm heading down to the drugstore. Well, thanks for that information. Yeah.
And then, and I was just,
with my life.
I was just telling this to Sam the other day, because every now and then I'll pop back into Twitter. I really never use it. I set up the Ning account to cross-post to Twitter, and then I've set up my Facebook to pull my Twitter feed out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I very rarely go into Twitter, and I swear to God, you know, it's the percent, it's got to be like 80-20. You know, 80% of the time that I go onto Twitter, it's over capacity and I can't even do anything.
Oh,
and I can't figure it out. This thing has been around for a good while now. They know what they're doing, obviously. Twitter knows what they're doing, and they have money for infrastructure. Obviously, they have infrastructure. How do they keep going over capacity so much?
Well, one of the things that they've done is they've limited how much you can tweet and how many refreshes. Like if you're using like a desktop application to keep up tweets, you're only allowed to refresh, I don't know, 4 or 5 times.
Really?
Before they actually put you on a little timeout.
Oh.
And then they let you come back. Huh. So yeah, no, they do not have the capacity. I mean, that would indicate to me that the capacity is not there to support the amount of use. And if you look at Twitter in the same from the same perspective that you would look at what's going on with YouTube, the big boys have moved in on Twitter. You know, all of the news corporations, all of the major corporations out there have a Twitter feed. Every joker out there has some kind of Twitter feed going on. It's all over the television. So yeah, it's over capacity, and it's just keeping up with anything on Twitter is daunting. I don't even log on to it anymore. Don't even
yeah, and then if you miss out, you know, when you stop being able to stay on top of it 100% of the time, when you do go back, you're like, I don't really know who these people are anymore. And I'm not even that, you know, even the people that I do know, I'm so far behind on where they're at and what they're doing.
What they've moved on with their life. And, you know, it's too tough. And Facebook is getting to be the same way as that.
It is, yes.
It's a constant maintenance.
I'll tell you.
Headache.
Well, I'll tell you what. I have been using it. I use it a lot more, obviously, than I use Twitter. I've never not been able to get into it. It's never been, Facebook is down, over capacity. Yeah. That's never happened to me before. So.
Right. No, that doesn't happen with Facebook. I'll grant you that. But then everybody wants to be your friend on Facebook. You know, finding old friends on Facebook, that was definitely a trip for me. People that I've been looking for 30 years. I did a whole video about that. And it's still have a hard time checking in.
Yeah.
You know,
let me get this out of the way right up front here. One of the things, obviously, I like to do when I have someone a guest other than Chris on the Vlogalog. If anyone is unfamiliar with you, and I don't know how much of my audience would be unfamiliar with you, what do you think is the one video that they should see on your channel?
Well, I think the best videos that I did were in this little segment of time that Talking Heads was around, and Chris Mast had a contest going on, and so I came up with a couple of my best ideas, what I think was my best ideas. There was one that was obviously Krumbine sucks. My dedication to my good friend Jordan.
And
then I did one that was the writer's block video. That I thought was probably my best work.
I enjoy that one very much.
You know, and it's a lot of work to put those kind of videos together. I spent several days. I mean, not just putting the music down. You know, not counting the music. If I did the music, all the mix down, multiple tracks to put it together, and then the video, and then the chroma key backup, and everything else that went with it. It was like having a full-time job.
Yeah. Well, just for our viewers, we were talking about the writer's block video. So I just want to, and then once we post this episode, I'll ask you to like post it as a video response so people can just scroll down and they can do a quick link. But for everyone who's watching this, go over to Jimmer's channel, and the links are in the description and whatnot. And at the top of his channel, just click on playlists. He's got 2 playlists there. Click on the music playlist, and you can just watch everything in that playlist. And you're not gonna only see just how the creative genius Jim is, but just how musically brilliant he is as well. So you got to check that out. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 videos here. And I, in my opinion, every single one of them is gold. Well,
there were you can see a progression of learning how to use the equipment that I had with me.
Yeah. And of course, one of my favorite is the boobs song.
That belongs to Baby Smith.
Well, and because that came from the Christopher Mass story, and I wrote like 2 lines of lyrics, and I said, just figure it out. When I sent it on to her, and then you covered it, and then it was that's one of my favorite ones.
I love Baby Smith. She's got the best musical delivery. She's got this kind of 1920s, 1930s ukulele thing going on with a really cool jazz influence, and it's fun. She's got a great sense of humor.
She's another one who, has this amazing talent and just obviously is just very creative and brilliant, and
You're not seeing enough of her anymore.
It seems like she was around. I'm not sure when she started out on YouTube, but I imagine she's
right around the same
one.
time I did.
Yeah, and then lately, for a while now, she's kind of been behind the scenes. She hasn't really been doing much. Do you know?
Well, I know she's over on Facebook now.
Yes, I definitely.
She was on Twitter for a while.
Yeah.
It seems like most of the people that I was associating with wound up over that direction, and not so much here on YouTube anymore. Well,
these damn fads. Well, here's a question. Going back to, YouTube, the content delivery platform versus the social network. I've always kind of felt like the social network aspect is kind of has become a necessary evil. The content can't stand by itself. If you want to be part of this, you've got to vlog, and you have to put yourself, front and center, because that's what people are interested in. They want to see a person, not a show. But do you think that it's evolved to such a point where, and I guess this could be a hint for, anybody who's watching and isn't really producing much right now, but the content does have to feed the social network. If you come up with, you can't just fire up the camera and ramble at it incoherently as a vlog.
Jamie's World does that, and he does a real good job at it. Have you seen Jamie's World?
I think so. If it's the guy I'm thinking of, yes, and I'm like, not really that excited or impressed by it, but I do see that a lot of people I know are do dig it, but okay, that's fine.
But it's but back to what you were saying, the content does have to support the social aspect of it, unless you're going specifically for the for doing your show, putting together a show and marketing it. Well, that's there, but the vlog and the social interaction is there too, but it does have to support it. I agree with you.
Okay.
One of the things my wife said when I was making a lot of videos is, Jim, you need to come down on a topic. You need to come down on a type of video you want to do. You need to do either vlog videos or music videos or comedy videos, but you're just confusing the hell out of your audience.
What about political videos?
Oh, no.
Before we started recording this, I asked Jim if there was anything that he did not want to cover, and he didn't want to touch on, and he said politics. No way, no how. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you about, like as part of that little opening bit of the show, was what you thought of the whole governor race here in Florida. That was a 48-49 split. vote.
I'm disappointed Alex Sink didn't get it. I voted for Alex.
Really?
And, yeah. I'm sorry. Rick Scott just left a bad taste.
She would have been.
I could not hold my nose and pull for him.
She would have been our first female governor in the state of Florida. That would have been something momentous about the whole thing.
It was a decision between two CEOs.
Yeah, yeah.
It
wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, is it
Healthcare.
ever a good decision? Is there ever a good option on either side?
No, but what she had going for her, in my opinion, is that she was a conservative Democrat.
Right. Yeah.
That I can deal with that.
Yeah.
I can deal. It's when you start getting way out here or way out there that I start having problems.
Well, and I don't really want to talk about this, but I'm just going to offer this one opinion, this one thought, which will subvert any other conversation about this. I have gotten to a point where I kind of like to just judge these guys by their ads, and Rick Scott produced some really good ads, and I mean, it's actually just as quality-wise, the video very high definition, and he must have been using some nice cameras because it looked just visually they looked really good, and whenever I remember like early on when he was addressing the major scandal about the whatever the major scandal was, that one. He did it. His responses to that were very classy.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, oh well, that's actually a really. And he did it in a classy way. I'm not saying it's right choice, wrong choice. I don't care. I'm just saying as far as the ads go, he produced some good commercials. They weren't like they didn't grate your nerves every time they by the end of the election cycle, anything grated your nerves, but they looked good, and he stayed fairly classy, at least early on. So I think everyone should be judged by things that have nothing to do with politics. Marco Rubio, for example, and I know that's I get the feeling that he would elicit a major eye roll from you. I would not vote for him just because his ears are so freaking huge. And as soon as that occurred to me, every time a Marco Rubio commercial came on television, I'm just like, the ears, they're so big. I don't care what he's saying. I can't hear what he's saying because all I'm fixated on are these enormous freaking ears.
Ferengi.
So
the huge Ferengi ears.
Yeah, yes. Took me a second to catch that reference. Sorry.
Oh, you didn't catch it? Okay. When I was, when this thing was all blowing up, when the election was coming on, I decided that starting in August, everything is DVR, everything is Netflix, everything is online. I get to choose what I see. So I didn't watch any commercials. I fast forwarded through everything on the DVR, and
that's awesome.
It was just too nasty. What I did catch, was running in the background was just too nasty to even deal with.
It did get pretty bad. And speaking of that,
Grayson, I am so glad that Alan Grayson got canned. That son of a bitch. Oh!
Speaking of television, and where Sam and I live now, it's included in the association fee. So we have this basic cable, and Sam just loves television. She loves having it on. So if it were up to me, I would be Apple TV and internet, and that would be it. I would never pay for cable other than cable internet.
Right.
But it's already included, so I can't help but sit there and watch all this stuff and I start noticing weird things. Tim Allen is doing a lot of he's doing two voiceover commercials for two different companies. He's doing the new Toyota or Chevy Cruze commercials, and then this happened last night, and I'm sitting there watching this, and it's been bothering me. The Campbell soup commercials. I'm like, that voice sounds really familiar. It sounds like Tim Allen, but he's already doing the Cruise commercials. They wouldn't put him in two commercials airing at the same. That didn't make. But yeah, it was Tim Allen. He's doing.
You wouldn't want to confuse the audience or anything like that.
Yeah, Apparently, I'm the. And then there's there is a Pediasure commercial, and of course you've never seen. You probably you don't watch.
I don't watch commercials.
Yeah,
I got this
I know. I
magic
know.
button that just.
But
Hey,
this
listen.
is.
Let me give you a tip about DVRs.
I don't have one.
Oh, get a DVR. Gotta have a DVR. What you do is you live TV. You go off and do something for 15 minutes, and let it play, and then come back and run it back 15 minutes, and you never have to watch the commercials.
Oh. I don't know what to say, but I got to tell you about this one commercial, and it's one of those things. It's a terrible commercial. It's stupid. It's Pediasure, which is the like a big there's the formula for babies, and then this is like a big boy's milk nutritional beverage, and it's. I mean, you have no reason to watch something like that or pay any attention to it, and there's nothing really remarkable about, the first, if it's a 60-second commercial, then there's nothing remarkable about the first 50 seconds of it, but it's these moms, there's a soccer game, and one mom turns to the other and is like, does Joey look like he's a little slow today? And Joey's out playing soccer wearing this huge French fry suit. He's a box of French fries, and he's out on the field. And I mean, it's just, and it looks like it's this stupid costume that the kid's wearing as he's playing. So it's, I mean, again, nothing. In the last few seconds of the commercial, a kid kicks the ball, and we're on the goalie, and the goalie, we see the goalie for the first time, and she's wearing a donut costume. So she's standing there in a big donut costume, and the ball goes through the hole in the donut. and then as soon as the commercial ends, you're like, wait a minute, and then you're thinking back. They did some great special effects there because you don't even notice it or think about it until once you've seen it. But seriously, she's standing there in a donut costume. The hole is where her body would be.
Right.
So, and she's got her feet sticking out from the bottom. So
now you got to sit down and figure out how they did that.
And it's, I mean, that was like a really cool little trick that they did in a commercial that you're like, no one is watching. And I was like, wait a minute. And I had to go, and I was telling, when some people came over, I was like, I pulled it up on YouTube, and I showed them, and I was like, check this out. How neat was that?
Really?
So, you find, there's a reason to watch commercials every now and then.
Yeah, and they can be some very interesting things. I mean, I've watched commercials way before the DVR ever showed up. So, coming up with new and creative it's got to be a challenge for the industry. Keep people from changing channels. I think the next big thing for commercials is going to be a way to make it entertaining even in fast forward and still get their point across.
Well, I think that's interesting, first of all, and I think that they're going to obviously have to do something, but I also think that cable is a dying industry. Television is
network television.
Network broadcast television.
They pick for you and show it to you.
Exactly. That's a dying industry. So
absolutely.
I think what probably is going to happen more is, in-show advertising. I think YouTube YouTube with their little pop-up ads in the video stream. That's going to be. I don't know how it would translate to television because it is important to have that little click away. Okay, I've seen it. Goodbye. But commercials and traditional commercials, it's.
Well, we've got Bright House Networks here, and they've got on the digital cable. You can actually go and watch programs that have been recorded. Mm-hmm. And the NBC selection, any of the shows for NBC, they don't allow you to fast forward during the playback of the show.
Huh.
Big block letters come up at the very beginning. It says, "Fast forward has been disabled for this broadcast."
NBC sucks.
Well, ever since the Jay Leno evening show thing, they make bad decisions over there.
Yeah, and the guy responsible is going away. So maybe they can. Turn it around. Do you watch late night at all? Do you watch those programs?
Not much. You mean the talk shows?
Yeah.
It's Leno and Letterman and everything? Haven't for a long time.
Neither do I, but that's not to say when all of that was going down, I was like, oh, this is really interesting, and I caught like I never watched Conan's Tonight Show at the start, but I did watch the last like maybe 2 or 3 episodes,
right?
And I thought that last one,
going out.
yeah, and that was kind of important, important moment I think in television history, and watching that final episode and the way he wrapped it all up, that was kind of cool. So I'm actually excited and I have been watching for some inexplicable reason for the past few nights. I've been watching Letterman, so I'm looking forward to switching over to TBS and see Conan Unleashed and see what he's got going on.
It ought to be interesting. Letterman's been up there for so long that he's institutionalized. He's pretty much the same thing over and over.
He doesn't really appeal to me too much, but I have no desire to watch Leno.
He was great. Back in the day, back, and I'm talking about in the late '70s and early '80s. Letterman actually had a day show for a while. And then he had a night show, a late night show. He had late in the early '80s, and the thing to do was, I'd go out, I'd play music, so we'd go out and we'd do a whole late night, and then come back and watch Letterman, and then it was a ritual, and it was fresh and new and cool and everything, But you figure after 25 years, hell, I almost burned out on YouTube after a year.
Exactly.
He's had 25 years. He's been filling up the airwaves.
And that's a perfect segue into something that, again, I'm always thinking about, but I have especially been thinking about for literally the past few days. How do you do? I mean, what is new? What is original? And I pulled this out because I want to start rewatch some of the Chaplin films. Because I mean, talk about originality. But how do you do something? What can you do? What can you produce and put on YouTube that hasn't been seen before? That's going to take people by surprise. That's going to be completely different. And I'm constantly trying to figure that out, trying to think of what that would be, because I think it would be so cool.
And without being influenced by things that you see, obviously influenced by things that you see, and keeping a kind of a tension between new and fresh and creating a formula.
Yeah.
How do you do that? It's a special form of genius to be able to do it. And there are people on YouTube who have been able to kind of straddle that line. And my hat is off to them. I honestly wish I had that kind of talent.
Well,
you do. You're constantly coming up with new and interesting things.
Well, I try. I don't know if they're particularly interesting or new, but I do try. Well, and I mean, like, look at Tube Talking. I don't think there is conceptually anything new about that show, but this specific flavor of internet show, I don't think YouTube has ever seen. And to take it one step further, in webcams, it occurred to me a couple of days ago, and I posted on Facebook to see if anybody could corroborate. But I really start, and maybe I'll put that to our viewers now. Webcams is a fully collaborative internet show, and it's gotten to a point now, and I don't know how long it's going to last, but I haven't had to write an episode for a couple of weeks now, and we've got a couple of pre-written episodes now.
Rob wrote the most recent
exactly.
one.
So
and Ben has written several.
Exactly. So. We've got other people, everybody writing the show, everybody from across YouTube performing in the show. We're not writing for any specific people. And then, of course, and then musically, we've got, whoever wants to throw, I mean, it's pretty much the Chris LeBrain hour as far as music goes, but even Anna has been showing that she's,
sure.
So anybody can contribute music. It is pretty much a 100% collaborative internet show experience. And I asked, and I'm asking again, is there any other show that collaborative on YouTube?
I haven't seen anything that collaborative, not wide open, not open, basically open call, open casting. The scripts are posted online. You go up and read them. And by the way, I have to insist, if you're going to get on or sign up for one of the collabs, please read the script first, all the way through, and be sure that you're okay with the content of the script and what the character does.
Most of the time, webcams is pretty tame. Most of the time.
Is. Most of the time.
Every now and then, we've got a golf episode. We have the episode like you did with the gay comments, the man meat, slathered juice, and whatnot. But for the most part, webcams, surprisingly, is a kind of a tame show.
Yeah, it can be, but it's it's usually a topic, an exploration between 2 or 3 characters, sometimes 4. Ending with a punchline, and it always works out very well. It's easy to do, and all you really need is a reasonably good camera and audio source to work with, and come in and be a part of it. I enjoy doing the webcams. They're very fun. Cool. It's like doing the old Talking Heads episodes.
Well, absolutely, yeah, definitely.
In a lot of ways, it's the same kind of format.
Yeah, and I love doing them. And what I've seen is that compared to everything else that I do on my channel, Crumbine's Brain, Little Zombies, Tube Talking. Actually, I mean, we've had 1 episode so far, but already I can see that that's going to eclipse everything else. But webcams compared to everything else, that webcams eclipses everything else in popularity. That's the show that people really dig and like on my channel, that as far as the stuff that I produce. So, and what really occurred to me, like I'm saying here, there's nothing else like that.
No, there's not. Not that with that kind of collaborative effort.
And I know I'm biased, but I really think we should be a lot bigger. That show should be a hell of a lot bigger than what it is because of what it is.
I don't know how to press it out there. I mean, obviously, you're not going to get featured on the front page of YouTube.
Nope. That doesn't exist anymore. No, but I mean, I think like I said, there is still a way. Still a partner can still feature you, and obviously, a holy grail for webcams would be to secure like maybe a top 50 YouTuber in a guest spot. And that would would open up a lot of doors for that show and really elevate it up. But like I mentioned in previous episodes, and you already know this from our Tube Talking directorial video that I'm assuming you watched. Maybe you didn't.
Yes.
No, you did watch it. You left a comment. There is a plan for Horborong Studios, and I do. It's ridiculous. What I always say is that it's ridiculous to think if you're doing this even semi-professionally or with intent to be professional about it, it's ridiculous to post something online, even on YouTube, and just expect the audience to come in. As we already established, there is no audience on YouTube. It's all just a bunch of other people trying to
get you to watch
seen. Yeah, but you can't.
And they're starting them young too. I mean,
very young. Oh God. Yeah. But you can't expect, to launch something without any kind of advertising or marketing. And I'm putting together, I've got a business plan together that is all about marketing and advertising. And we're going to do a test period coming up. It's going to center around our 2nd episode of Tube Talking, which hopefully is going to be within the month of November or early December, and we are going to market the hell out of 3 videos over the course of a week and kind of see where that takes us. Okay. As far as the Krumbine channel and Horborong Studios and what kind of audience we can build from that. That's going to give us an idea of how much of a budget going forward we need, if any at all. And actually, one of the things I wanted to mention to you, talking about originality and kind of changing the game plan, and I'm specifically mentioning it towards the end of our video because I'm happy to share it, but I kind of only want to share it to people who care about it. I was having a hard time with my business plan because I couldn't figure out a way to be profitable. I couldn't figure out how, because I want to be able to, have for our first year have a very small staff and be able to produce our stuff. And at the end of our production year, we wrap up our production year with a feature film. And again, you should already be aware we're talking about doing Film School Rejects this coming summer. What crystallized all of this, I walked after I recorded the vlog with Chris. We stopped recording, and I walked him through all the notes that I had and all my ideas, and I told him what my problems were with having, finding any profit, in all of this. And we talked around it for a little bit, and then boom, there it was. If the concept, basically, and I'm very excited about this, obviously, is that we're going to be marketing the hell out of the productions we do, what we're working on now, over the course of 3 to 6 months, right? The goal is to build up that audience, really gain those subscribers and followers and people who not just subscribe but watching and are interested and are excited. Sure. Webcams is that, the tent pole production, because that's what really, Horborong Studios create, engage, inspire. Webcams covers all those points. So conceptually, theoretically, by the end of our by the end of our year, when we've established that audience, we've shown them probably 10, 12 episodes of tube talking, and you've already seen that first episode, and they're going to get bigger and better after that. Mm-hmm. All the episodes of webcams, they know the quality, they know what to expect. Here's our feature film. And by feature, I'm talking about probably 60 to 80 minutes. So we're not talking a full, hour and a half feature, but like an internet feature, something that you wouldn't have a problem sitting in front of your computer or pulling it up on YouTube, on the television or whatever, and watching. And we'd rent it. We'd release it as a rental on YouTube for about $2.99.
iTunes.
Yeah.
You put it up on iTunes also. That's available.
Right,
heck of an idea.
And right there, that alone, ignoring AdSense revenue, ignoring merchandise, and book sales, distribution deals for books and our music that we plan to release, ignoring all of that, the revenue from a feature film release to that kind of audience in this universe that we're building,
sure,
that would be enough to cover operating budgets and then some.
Going forward, yeah.
Yeah, so
right.
As far as doing something different, innovative thinking, that's the biggest idea I think I have ever had, and it's one of the things that I'm very, 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 very excited about. What do you think? I think that it's a fantastic idea. I think that
actually, we all know the end game is to be able to pay for it by having fun with it.
Yeah.
And if we can continue to do that and continue to keep the kind of interaction and talent that we're seeing come through, I mean, for crying out loud, Chris LeBrain, you just throw a topic at the guy and he can write a song.
Right.
He's your Paul Schaefer. There is no question about that. I mean, it's the equivalent of that kind of thing. He's the most creative musician I've seen in a long, long time. And Maddie and Ben Zone for writing. I think that you've got assembled around you the team that you need to move forward with this. And the advantage is that you don't have to have everybody in the same place at the same time. It's all video networking. Mm-hmm. Which really makes takes a lot of stress off of the infrastructure for doing what you're wanting to do.
Right.
So yeah, man, it sounds great. It sounds great. How many episodes of Tube Talking you think you're going to release between now and then?
I really haven't planned that show out at all. I'm really I was intentionally taking it one episode at a time. But I do, I mean, everything is I kind of the short answer to your question, I really think would be like 10 to 12 episodes. I mean, they are very time consuming and intensive episodes compared to anything else I've done. But hopefully we can smooth it out and get a few more out the door, because it really is a great example of the talent that we're working with here.
There is there is one drawback, and this is by no means a slight in any way. The duration of videos on YouTube has always been an issue. You know, it's attention span versus content. The theory in the past was short and sweet, minute or less, 5 minutes or less for a video. Get to the point. And the only thing that I think could be considered a drawback to the whole concept is the length of a lot of the episodes. I'm not criticizing it. I think they're great. They definitely keep my attention.
Just so you know, we're on to 54.5 minutes for this vlog that we're recording here.
There was a couple. Two of them ago were an hour and a half.
I know, right? Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be able to keep any kind of reasonable conversation going this long.
I had full faith in us. I had full faith in you. After eight episodes, I get an idea of how this works.
But how many people are actually watching these in their entirety?
I don't know. I don't know. Do you?
And there's no way to know. And you don't really care at this point, because we're just talking to a select audience anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. The vlog-a-log is the epitome of doing something you love for yourself and for the handful of other people that also enjoy it, and you don't care.
And it's also about chewing up bandwidth.
I guess so, yeah. Making YouTube pay for making me a partner. You will regret it one day.
They will eventually pay one way or the other.
But I mean, I imagine someone has tried this or done this, maybe, but I haven't really seen or heard of anybody taking advantage of the YouTube rentals in that fashion. The rental distribution system that they've created.
Oh, with original content?
Yeah. Because, again, I hate to use him as a reference, but if Shane Dawson ever sat down and produced a feature film, and he rents it for $2.99,
yeah,
I mean, he's gonna make a crap load of money in a matter of days because of that audience. That
didn't they make a Fred film?
They did.
Ugh.
And I think they might
be renting
that. Is it for rent
up there?
It might be, actually.
Oh.
I've seen it somewhere. I don't know if it was Apple TV, but I mean, it was also aired on Nickelodeon, so I think YouTube wasn't the end game, you know?
No.
What I'm talking about, is what I was thinking about it, and I've never wanted to put movies in theaters or do a television show. I'm in love with the internet as a distribution platform, and I believe in the internet as a distribution platform, and I can just totally it makes so much sense to me that we build an audience with our shows, and we really build it up huge, and then we hit them with our feature film. And I just see, I would do it. I'd do that all the time. I'll rent a movie for $3 and watch it online.
I do that on iTunes, and I do it on Netflix all the time.
And if it's a YouTube community like Krumbination who've come together and are putting together, the best feature film they could ever make. First of all, I know it's going to be a good film no matter what. But even if it wasn't by any stretch of the imagination, I still would throw down the $3 to support them and just to see what they come up with.
Sure.
So I really think that there's an opportunity here to do something fresh and original, and it's not content-wise. It's a little bit distribution-wise, and kind of rethinking how to get your media out there.
It's personal publishing. It's been done. It's being done with music now.
Mm-hmm.
The same kind of idea. People, bands are out there producing their content, their music, and putting it up on iTunes. And there's several other. Jamondo is another audio musical content where you can actually download for free, and you can also make donations to support the artists. So it's not a brand new idea, but it's a brand new idea for the video content
for YouTube.
Independent on YouTube. Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
great idea.
Cool. And we're done.
I conclude this back scratching party.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jim. This was a really great conversation. Is there anything else you'd want to add to this video? Anything you want people to know about you? Or we already know we're already telling everyone to go check out your music playlist because it's probably one of the best playlists on YouTube. But just
check out the upcoming webcams episode. It'll be out, I assume, next week sometime.
It's actually going to be, well, yeah. I mean, I don't know. It will be next week. From when people are watching this, it'll be next Monday. Okay, next Monday from when they watch it, and hopefully I'll get back on the camera and start making some more video. Very cool. And anytime you want to come up with throw down some music for webcams, it's open door policy. You got it. Alrighty. No problem throwing something up there when I feel like I got something to do. Alrighty. All right, Jim. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording now, and I will let you know when this is. Okay. I don't think I said anything embarrassing. Okay.
When it's horrible, bad and wrong. When it's horrible, bad and wrong. When it's horrible, bad and wrong.